Thank you for coming to our 1:30 session. I'm so excited for you to see who we have for you today. We have a group from Thriving Connections. Some of us affectionately call it TC. Thriving Connections is an intentional community that is formed around the idea of eliminating poverty, a big feat, and we're going to get to hear about that today. Many of us know that poverty as a financial condition creates a lot of stress, a lot of risk factors. And we're going to use today to highlight some of the things that TC does to provide protective factors for their youth, to provide conditions that develop their assets. And they're going to get to share a lot with you today. But before we get started, I'd like to recognize, are there any TC, former TC or SCAT people in the audience? Hi, friends. Hi there. Glad you guys are here. Thanks for coming. I'll give you a rundown of how we're going to use our time, and then I'm going to turn it over to our moderator. We're going to have a few parts to our time. River's going to moderate some questions to our youth that are here, and they'll answer from their perspective and their authentic experience. And I'm so excited for you to get to hear from youth at the Childhood Conditions Summit. And then we're going to take a break. The panel can come off the stage, get a drink of water, take a little bit of break, and those of us in the audience can use that time for some reflection and to see if we have any questions that we want to ask them. Because then we'll wrap up our session with a Q&A. We'll pass the microphone around, or if you'd rather write your question down and give it to me, or to Asia, who is going to be helping pass the microphone. She's in the back in the blue sweater. We'll be passing microphones around or sharing questions that you might have for the youth. So let's get started. I'll pass it over to River for some introductions.
Hello, I go by River Washington. I've been a part of Thriving Connections off and on since I was 11, so that is about, it'll be 17 years coming up soon here. I forgot everything I was gonna say. I love that. So I've been a part of this off and on for a long time. I was part of the youth community initially. And then I transitioned into being our first second generation team lead within our community. And from there, I kind of dipped in and out and became a volunteer youth coordinator, which is where I got to meet many of our young members of our community, and I'm very glad to get to meet some of them today. So let's go ahead and start with introductions.
My name is Daisy Rogers. I'm 18 years old. I'm a freshman at IU currently, and yeah.
My name is Bella Jester. I'm an 8th grader at Tri-North Middle School. I'm 13 years old, and I participate in sports like volleyball, cheer, and track.
Hello, my name is Matthew Woods. I am 13 years old, and I go to Jackson Creek Middle School.
Hi.
You're good.
And I want to give a shout out to my mom for introducing me to TC, and Mary for helping me find my talent in poetry.
Hi, my name is Evan Allen, and I'm 11 years old, and I go to Fairview Elementary, and I want to give a shout out to Asia and my mom for Asia letting me do this and my mom pushing me to be able to do this.
All right, let's go ahead and get started with our first question. I remember how to read. I have a brain. I'm not nervous at all. That's so my first question, as they have rehearsed more than I have, what is Thriving Connections? Like, what's it like, and what do you guys do there?
Thriving Connections is a community full of wonderful people who helped us push out of our shell from being maybe nervous to talk to other people, from being scared to talk to people, and really pushing ourselves to be able to communicate with each other nice and well.
I think Thriving Connections, it's a great community. Like, it fosters personal and, like, I guess communal growth and empowers, like, the members to strive for just financial stability.
For me, just look at the name Thriving Connections. Basically, it's a space where people from different social and economic levels meet to create a community that fosters community and provides resources to help people out of poverty.
For me, Thriving Connections is a place where they help you with like educational stuff, and it's a place where people come together and you have dinner, and like after dinner, parents will have a meeting about like stuff. I don't really know what they have a meeting about, but and the kids will go back to the back and do something educational, like Matthew said, poetry, and yeah.
As a former member of the youth community, I will say that when we started, it was kind of a Wild West daycare where we ran amok. And eventually we transitioned into having what we call service learners and having a structured program, which if you've ever taken children from recess to learning, you know is like fighting the system itself. And so I'd like to ask if there's anything that our youth has learned from our service workers, because they do a lot of good work with them. If there's any takeaways you guys have had, any ways that they've mentored you guys and helped foster stuff.
I'd say the service learners really helped us transition from being more of the playing around to being able to go from transitioning, like you said, from like somewhat like recess to learning time. Like we'd have this huge like part where we'd all talk, we'd have fun, we'd eat, and then going to the learning rooms was really like hard at first, but then like later on it was easier. And I like how there's different like sections. There's like the youth would be like anywhere from like 3 to 10 years old, I believe, and they learn about like more like creative stuff, and we do stuff like poetry and stuff that will bring our minds off of stuff that we had from school earlier on in the day. And being able to talk to people while we're doing this really helped build ourselves.
For me, I think TC having service learners is like a great way to mix having fun and like learning, because we always like do an activity that's somewhat fun but also has learning elements to everything.
Service learners are like people that want to like that take a class from IU to be like teachers or social workers or like therapists, and they come to TC and they get to interact with us, and they are like so they are like we get to meet a bunch of different service learners. We're not just meeting the same service learners. We get to meet a bunch of different people, and like meeting a bunch of different races and different people and getting to know like other stuff.
Like religions and different type of religions, knowing not to judge people based on how they are, how they look, how they think. We all kind of get together, and it's like having one open mind to everyone. Everyone doesn't just have different thoughts, or everyone does have different thoughts, but no matter what they are, we all kind of connect. It's like connecting dots.
I think for me, like for the past 2 years, I have been like older, so I think I saw the service learners like more as peers kind of, and mentors as well, like going through like college applications and just thinking about college. They helped mentor me a lot, and yeah, like all like with all of them, like with all of what they said, like they like teaching people just to accept people from different backgrounds and all.
Got you. Doing my job for me, answering some of the questions I have next. Evan answered kind of what the service learners are, and Daisy has kind of touched on our next topic, which is what are some ways that the service learners have, their mentorship has affected you guys? Besides as Matt kind of pointed out, they've helped us learn empathy and not just tolerance, but empathy.
So basically, service learners teach us different stuff. So like with acting, I've taken on acting, and every year, closer to Christmas time, we'll go to a play, and sometime there was one time a service learner was in the play, um, and that's really sparked sparked my talent for acting, or like horseback riding.
And branching off of what he said, some of the service learners really helped me find out that some of the poetry that I made when Mary did the big poem program for TC, it showed that some of the poems I made didn't only connect to me, but connected to other people in the vicinity of when I told my poems.
For for me personally, service learners have helped me have opened me up to different opportunities and different lifestyles, and how I could be something different from like a firefighter or a doctor, and they have just really opened me up to different career options.
Um, when I was applying for college and all, Indiana like is not where I wanted to go at all. But like seeing all the service workers and like just hearing about all the different opportunities at IU, it definitely helped. And now I'm at IU, so I think I'm really grateful for them for that.
I know we touched on it a little bit. For some of you, is there any way that Thriving Connections has, in itself, like cultivated and nurtured and fostered a talent that you either didn't know you had, or an interest that you didn't know that you were interested in, or helped you further in something you liked?
Well, basically, what I'm doing right now, public speaking. Like when we did the Black History Month gala. Wait, no, not gala. When we did the Black History Month presentation with the poster boards, and sparking my talent for public speaking.
And I'd say Thriving Connections really helped with also my public speaking, because I was a talkative person, but it was more like, more towards like people that I knew, in which now I'm able to speak in front of crowds of people that some I do know, some I don't. And it also helped because of the talent show in TC when I sang in front of everybody in TC, which also kind of helped open singing for me, because I wouldn't really sing outside of like the people in my family. And another thing was poetry, and yeah.
I think with all of TC's like different opportunities and just like things, I guess I ran track all through middle school and high school, and it definitely helped like foster that. I don't know if there's like, I mean, ooh, yeah, it just oh yeah.
Well, for me, my mom has always been an active member of TC, so seeing her leadership and how she kind of ran the program, it really inspired me to be more of a leader towards the little kids and work into my responsibility in leadership.
Yeah, and also I want to mention that somebody else in this group, Katie, really helped us learn to be a leader, and also like showed us that leading doesn't only take determination, but it also takes perseverance, because you have to know when to, whenever to lead and whenever to sit back and wait your turn.
I want to thank my mom because it help it helps because like one of my talents is I like working. So my mom usually, oh, how do I say that?
You can take your time.
Oh, like when help like when we go to church together, I used to be scared to go up and speak. My mom would go up and speak and sing sometimes, and that showed me like that I don't have to be afraid to go up and speak and talk.
Because maybe not everybody is thinking about how bad you're going to do. They're probably thinking about something else in their life, or probably even thinking about the words instead of how you're doing.
Are there any ways that Thriving Connections has, as a community, helped build or helped you build the skills to build a community outside of TC?
Yeah, it's helped me find new friends. It's helped me find, like, change my groups of people and how to, like, shift from not only being to where I change myself around a group of people. Instead, I'd stay myself and see how that would work out, because in TC, no matter what service learner you're around, no matter what member of, like, all the members of the youth, if you're around them, you could stay yourself and be perfectly fine. They wouldn't look at you differently, and yeah.
Um, like something that my mom does say, and a lot of people in this room say, is that like changing your surroundings. Like if you're hanging out with the wrong crowd of people, that could like just changing your surrounding. Like TC has helped me find like positive ways to like find or introduce myself to new people, and like not just staying in one group all the time, going out and finding new people. So not being afraid to meet new people and try new things.
I
And
think watching my mom like build her little community inside of TC, like with even Eliza and Chakay being her best friends, like I've watched like all of them like grow up basically, and I think it's taught me just how to just connect with anybody and everybody.
All right. The next question we have is, how has it helped you break down barriers?
it really helped me break down the barriers of being able to, like, talk in front of a crowd of people. It helped me break barriers on speaking my mind to people, speaking like how I felt after school, how I feel after certain people say different stuff to me at school. And it also helped me, like, break down barriers of, like I said, singing from the talent show, and also, like, show my talent and not be, like, scared to show it, because people may not like it, people may do, like, they may like it, but it's like at TC they don't judge.
Like Matthew said, one TC tradition is the talent show. And I've also always been naturally shy, and like showing my talents or my skills in that talent show have really like helped me get out of my shell and broken down that barrier for me.
Well, breaking down barriers like opening up to people and not being afraid to like not keeping everything in and not just like being able to talk to someone instead of being like just putting everything down and trying to handle it yourself. Like talking to someone could help, and like that's really helped with talking to people and like being able to talk like being able to talk and open up to people has helped with a lot of issues.
Like opening up to different crowds of people, say you didn't really fit in with the cool group of kids, but you're like, say like during PE, you're in a group with a few people that you may not know that's a part of, quote unquote, the cool kids section, and being able to like open up to them, to like talk to them, not be like followers, and being able to like become like somebody of all natures, like, you know.
Breaking down the barrier for me is like horseback riding. I was really, really scared to do it, and TC helped me with like being able to pay for it, number one, and number two, like not being afraid to get close to a horse because they are really big.
They're quite big. So it sounds like what I'm hearing from you guys generally is it's helped you first and foremost get into some of your interests, but also it's Thriving Connections has helped you foster thriving connections. Forgive the pun, I wrote that down earlier. But I know Evan touched on it a little bit, and it's been touched on a few times through some topics. We have Thriving Connections has some extracurricular funds that we use to do certain things. You talked about the horseback riding and plays. Is there anything other than those things that you guys have like got to experience through this that you wouldn't have normally been able to experience?
Running track in high school. I mean, with track, I never saw it as a sport with like tons of equipment or anything like basketball or football where you need to purchase like everything. But with like even the extracurricular funds, like when I needed new spikes, like that was a thing that helped because spikes, they tear very easily, and like it just helps, like I guess, break the barriers of like actually being able to wear like the right running shoes to run instead of not.
Well, for me, I participate in a lot of sports, and one sport in particular that the extracurricular fund has helped me be able to do was cheer. And cheers a lot, and there's a lot of supplies you need to be a cheerleader. So like things like palms and spandex and things like that, they can run up a lot of money, and the TC extracurricular fund has like broken that barrier for me.
Or like when I did horseback riding, the TC extracurricular fund helped me pay for that because horseback riding is really fun, but it does take a lot of equipment. And like, what if I had fall down and got hurt? That's also gonna cost a lot. And the boots, boots also, that does kind of round up to a lot of money. So the TC extracurricular fund helped me find something that I was good at, and I still like it to this day.
The extracurricular funds helped us be able to go to the YMCA, my whole family, and me going there really like helped me step outside of the house more instead of being on the couch playing video games all day. And I'd say that really helped, and it also helped my sister Michaela. It helped her get into gymnastics, in which something that she was really passionate about at the time. And yeah.
I personally have experienced through the funds. I had never been to a play before, and I actually got to go see Huckleberry Finn. That's not the cartoon, if I remember correctly. And that was an amazing experience. I did want to kind of switch from that to, sorry, I'm dyslexic, so give me a second. So we've talked a bit about poverty, so I feel like we should kind of dive into that and the struggles that happen to come with that. Even as a young person, you can experience stress because of poverty. Is there any particular experiences you guys feel comfortable sharing about stressors that you've had to experience with growing up dealing with poverty?
I personally think growing up in poverty, I guess I would thank my mom a lot for this, but I don't really know if I really realized that I was like in poverty until like I was like old, like way older, like a few years ago basically. And I don't know, like it's like definitely feels different, like seeing other kids like experience like things that you can't, but I think it definitely just helped create different opportunities and help me build new experiences that are just different.
Poverty, sometimes you can't always think about being in poverty as a bad thing because it can help you think as a different mindset. So like help like not being like, well, sometimes you can like, sometimes if you haven't experienced something, you like just want something to be handed to you. Sometimes you have to work for stuff. And sometimes it can help you realize that sometimes you don't have the stuff that you need, but you have to think about the bigger picture, and you know one day you will get there.
Yeah, and I'd say I didn't notice that we were somewhat close to poverty because my mom would like spoil us a lot, and I'd say I didn't notice until like 2 years to last year, and I'd say yeah we did. I'd say I'm really shout out to my mom first of all because she really did spoil us. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Every Christmas we'd get what we want, and yeah.
Well, for me personally, I have to thank my mom for this, but personally, I never like really thought about where I would get my next meal from because I always knew that my mom would provide for me, and so that's never really been a stress for me. But maybe sometimes like when I wanted something and I may not have the resources for it, I it kind of taught me resilience and how to like problem solve.
Yeah, you kind of like everyone grows up normal, and normal is just kind of like your starting place. So when you grow up a certain way, it's hard to realize that you're technically different. Your normal is different than everybody else is different, and so you kind of get into this situation where you don't realize you have less per se. You have less resources financially, and certain things just become like that's Tuesday. Like my go-to saying is that's a Tuesday, dog. Like I don't. Oh man, the bills are high. Okay, but you learn different things. Like you learn different skill sets. It's not always just about your financial security. There you can be emotionally impoverished, or I'm not going to get political, but we know what I'm talking about. You can be emotionally impoverished. You can be empathetically impoverished, and you can. Some people don't know how to work hard, and you come out of a situation where you've got all these resources, and suddenly I've known people who, like, they start school and their parents aren't around, and they're like, I don't know how to function. I drive in this town, and it makes me so mad when people don't know how to function. So is there anything that you guys know that you've learned through this sort of experience that you feel like is, in a weird way, made you better off?
I think resilience definitely. Like, I mean, in high school, I guess that's like when I like first really started noticing that like people were all in like under different circumstances, and like I would see like friends or just other like my peers like grouping up and like, oh, let's all go to Florida together, let's all do this together. And I don't know if I really like noticed, but like when I would be like, oh mom, this blah blah blah, she'd be like, she like if it was important enough to me, I think my mom made it work, which was always great. But when sometimes like stuff didn't work out my way, I guess I just did other things and just learned to be resilient.
Um, so again about like working harder. Sometimes you have to run the extra mile when someone wants to stop. Sometimes you have to run the extra mile and work harder than a lot of other people because not having the money, you're not going to have some of those advantages. But it can also sometimes teach you something about how to run the extra mile or work harder or thrive to get something.
And I'd say thriving connections really helped us thrive to find connections and being able to connect to different people and not just the same group of people over and over again.
Well, I think being in poverty has really taught me independence because I have naturally been an independent kid because of my mom, and like it has also taught me how like mindset, how important mindset is, and like you have to think glass half full because thinking negatively won't change your situations.
Nice. What are some stigmas you've experienced as growing up in poverty, and possibly what are some stigmas you have towards people who aren't in the same sort of circumstances?
So, thinking back, I'd say during my elementary years, now that I'm in middle school, I noticed that when I would like be asking my friends if like we could do something like going to birthday parties and stuff like that, I guess like I've changed now because I kind of seen that I was kind of a jerk. Like I would kind of like bring it to where, say somebody would be like, oh, I can't go because I have to do this, or I can't go because my parents can't afford that. I guess I'd be like, oh, dang, they're just boring. But now I kind of see their stand of view and see that not everybody has it.
I think, like, personally, I don't think I have any stigmas towards people in different financial situations than me. Growing up, like, in elementary, middle school, high school, I knew I was on, like, free and reduced lunch. And, I mean, I don't think people really talked about, like, being on it, but I definitely heard, like, oh, like, people will, like, make fun of people, like, oh, you're poor. I mean, I didn't like really I didn't really know what it all like meant, I guess, but I also just didn't really like talk about it.
Nice. I have to say, with the free and reduced lunch, I always was like, I eat for free. You're the idiot. I don't know. Why are you paying? That said, what are your thoughts on people who have like more stable financial situations? Dude, I don't know if we've kind of gone over that enough or not.
I feel like people who have a more stable financial situation, that sometimes that they can be less educated about poverty and how it can affect people's mental and physical health. So I think everybody should get more educated on poverty.
So, sometimes, like when someone has a higher income than you, you would want to, like, sometimes when people think they have a higher income than you, they just think they can buy their way through life. When really it's about working hard and fighting through a lot of things. Even when things get tough, you have to know how to fight through it.
And I'd say, touching on what Bella said, some people may, like in higher financial statuses, may have gone through poverty at least once or twice, but that's a maybe. Say like, if you were born outside of poverty, you might have noticed and felt bad, but not all people are like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I also agree with what Bella said. Like, with the education and not understanding, I think being in a lower financial situation definitely teaches you empathy, and I guess when you get older, you can start to notice that like other people like don't think like that, I guess. And I mean, it's I don't like it's not anything negative towards them. I guess it's just how your experiences shape you and just build things that some people don't have.
It's almost like a first impression thing, because if you run into somebody that was in like a higher financial status and they were like nicer to you and you were in poverty, you'd kind of like have that good impression, like, oh, they actually care and they actually see what I'm going through. They may not know what it feels like, but they see what we're going through. And if you run into somebody that's like, oh yeah, no, you're not cool because you can't afford this and that, it's more like you have a bad impression against them and stuff.
All right. It looks like we're wrapping up on that one. Is there anything you would like the people in this room to know about our community, like in general? I know we've got notes here on the phrase, "you are more than your circumstances." Did you guys want to elaborate on that concept?
Yeah, so it depends on who you are as a person. If you're in poverty and you're more of like the positive side of it and you're thinking highly, you're thinking about, like Evan said, the bigger picture, you'd have more of like a positive vibe to you and to like everyone around you. But if you're not really thinking positive about the situation you're in and thinking that, oh, I could get out of it someday I'll do really good, and you don't have that mindset, then you may go downhill. It's almost like a roller coaster. If you're on the ride, and say you're on the ride of poverty, when you get off, you notice that maybe being in poverty, you had a lot more fun than you did outside of it, because you could connect to a whole bunch more people. Even outside of poverty, you were able to connect to the people, and you may notice that, oh wow, I kind of miss those times. But like during the ride, you may not like it. You may like it. It depends on the person you are. If you don't like roller coasters, then yeah.
I think that saying is definitely really impactful. Like if you think, like, with everything you do, like if you're just thinking that you're in poverty, I won't say it totally eliminates, but it eliminates kind of room for just growth in other areas when like that's all you think about. But also, like growing up, I think it makes me just kind of want to give back, like as I'm older, like in my career. Okay.
For me, I want the people in this room to leave instead of the mindset that poverty is just like a line. I think that poverty is a spectrum, and some people on the spectrum can be more fortunate than others, but I think that everybody should be more educated on poverty, because you can always learn more about something.
Nice. I've spent this whole time up here trying not to turn this into church and say amen a lot, because they've made some really good points. It's time kind of now for questions, if we'd like, or is it time for questions? Sorry, I don't pay attention. So I guess we're going to take a break real quick. We're going to get ready for some questions if any of you guys have any questions after our break.
All right. Thank you to the TCU. Thank you, guys. Oh, my goodness. Could a program be any more appropriately named than Thriving Connections? We're going to take a 10-minute break for the youth to just get a drink of water and chill out a little bit, get off the stage. And this will give us some time for some table talk amongst those that we're sitting with, to maybe talk about the highlights. Did they say things that you expected? Did they say things that you didn't expect? What were your impressions? So let's, for the next 10 minutes or so, just have some table talk. And then when we get back together, we're going to have a Q&A. The kids will come back up on the stage, and we'll have a chance for you to ask some questions directly to them. So Asia and I will walk the microphone around, and if anybody wants to take the mic and ask them a question, we can do it that way. Or if you don't want to speak your question and you'd rather write it down, you can pass it to me or to Asia, and we can do that. Remember that they're 11 to 18 years old when you're asking the question, please. But man, the wisdom that they've shared with us already has got me thinking about lots of things. So let's take 10 minutes to think and reflect and share amongst our tables, and then we'll bring the kids back up. Thanks. Thank you for that time and conversation. It was fun to walk around and hear what you guys were thinking about. They've given us an example of how Thriving Connections provides protective factors and develops assets in youth. You were likely thinking about ways your programs do that too, or ways you can add elements to the things that you influence to develop assets in the youth that you work with. Maybe you have some questions about their experience or comments about how they responded to some of the questions. So I'm going to come down and bring the microphone around. Asia's got a microphone, and if you would rather have yours read, Leanne here can come grab them, and Asia's got a few to read as well, I think. So you guys can, we'll have the mics out here so you guys can pass them around as needed. So Asia, you want to get us started?
All right. Is there a service or program or any programming that you haven't been provided that you think would be beneficial?
I'd say for me, that would be, I actually don't know.
I think as an older kid in TC, it was always like an effort to make there was always an effort to make programs for like the older kids of TC, like high school level, and I mean I think that would be great for the future high schoolers.
I personally think nationwide free healthcare would be great.
It's a great program, River.
Yep.
You don't have to if you.
All right, we've got one here.
Hi there. I think you all did great. I really just have a question. I'm not familiar with Thriving Connections, so I'm just curious how like the program works. Like, how do people become involved, and how do they like how often do you meet, and just basically the logistics of it all.
Okay, so we meet every Thursday and I guess we start with a dinner, and then there's like programming. I'm actually also not sure what the adults do, but I know for like the youth, they separate like it by age range and just do like academic and like fun programming to help the kids.
Yeah, Asia, do you want to give any of the background from an organizational point of view?
Yes. Thriving Connections is a program through SCAP, South Central Community Action Program. So you can find our link through the SCAP link. Is it scap.org? inscap.org, insccap.org.
I also want
That'll
to.
give you all the information you need about Thriving Connections and all the other programs that SCAP provides for the community.
I also want to add that it's mainly on Thursdays, but sometimes we had like events that we would do on like Saturdays, Sundays, and stuff like that. Like trunk or treat for Halloween, we'd go like sometimes on Saturdays, sometimes on Sundays, and we also.
So we also do back to school programs where we usually meet at we'll all get together and we'll go to like, and they'll have backpacks and stuff that we need for school, and that'll also help. And last time we had back to school, they had haircuts, so that helped a lot, and I appreciate.
I think we have a question here.
This question is for a couple of you guys shouted out your moms, and I don't know if they're here, but I just wanted to know what motivated you all to get involved.
Hi, I'm Evan's mom in the black. So for me, what motivated me is actually just to change my life and come out of poverty and provide my children with the resources and the things that they need to be successful and hopefully avoid living in poverty as adults, building skills. And I'm not ashamed to say when I first heard of Thriving Connections, I was actually coming out of a domestic situation and living in the Rise, and just around found the Positive ladies there, and they were like, hey, there's this group, we're going. And when we first went there, it didn't seem real because everybody was very friendly and extremely friendly and just like, we're here, there's no judgment. And you're like, mm-hmm. Because when you're in poverty, you are thinking that people are always judging you. But as you go and you come and you have dinner and the kids are gone, first of all, as a parent, you're like, wait, dinner and the kids are gone after that? And we're like, woo, no kids, you know? But in that process, you're like, like they offer us like credit building classes or like, just any different things that we need and we bring up and we're like, hey, we're interested in this. They foster that environment, like they empower the parents, which in turn empower the kids. So that's why it's like, it's a amazing I'm so glad that I started. My family and I have been a part of it for 8 years, and my life has did a 180. So I'm very thankful for it. It's just like having that village and that supportive environment has helped me. So to see my son up here, I'm like sitting in the front crying because it's showing me that it has also empowered and helped him. So, and like changed his life. And I know that he will have a better life and have more skills and do that because, you know, we went through this program, so.
Some
I will say we would tell people when they come in we're not a cult, but that would make us seem more like a cult, so we don't do that. Do we have any other questions?
I just want to say that I am just so proud of all of you. I was involved as an ally with Thriving Connections for over a decade, and I have seen these guys when they were really tiny, and I am just floored by how articulate you are and how respectful you are of your parents and how able you are to talk about the program. And for me personally, I mean, my husband and I were involved together, and he came from a place where his mom was not able to provide, you know, wasn't sure where the next meal was going to come from. And, you know, he is in a place where we now have adequate resources, and we really wanted to be together with families, and it was so enriching for us. We came from the other side, and in Thriving Connections, your question was, you know, how does it run? They pair families that are trying to work their way out of poverty with individuals who have enough resources, and we're called allies, and they are the team leaders. They are the captains of their own ship and make their own direction. And it has just been so enriching for me to be involved. And I wish I was still able to be there. I have family needs that I can't do that right now. But I am just floored by how articulate and wonderful both the moms and the kids. And I would encourage any of you who would like to, you know, serve as allies. It's a very enriching experience, and also your church can be involved. The meals were often provided by teams of people from various churches, and it really is so important. Gathering around a table together enhances relationships, creates connection. And so even if you can't be involved on a weekly basis, you could get a team of people from your church or from your community that can provide meals for the family. They come in and the family comes in, and it is so important, just that time together, the family not having, the working mom not having to come in and do their own meals. So I just, you know, anyone who would like to be involved is just so wonderful. So anyway.
I do really quick want to say two things off of what Angela said. We are technically a secular group, but we are very welcoming to any group that wants to help us. You don't bite the hand that feeds, for sure, especially if you're cooking. We love it. And as I stated during the intros that I'm a second-generation team lead, I wasn't going to get too into it, but I was a first, second-generation captain, and Angela's husband, Gerhard, he was one of my direct allies on my ship. And it was really great because we share a sense of humor, and more so than I've shown today. And he was fascinating because I always like to brag that I got to know the economics chair at IU because that's who he was, and to learn more about where he came from because he was German was an incredible part of our program. I got to learn more about his culture. I got to learn more about economics in general. I still don't understand what a dollar is worth, but hey. And so it is an incredible program that really helps. And if you can add anything and want to add anything to a program, you're more than welcome to come in and at the very least, steal some dinner and have a conversation. We welcome everybody, at least for dinner. So, of course, come in if you'd like. Looks like Asia has
I
another
have a
for us.
question. I would like to ask you all about the topic of reciprocity. What does reciprocity mean to you? How has Thriving Connections impacted that? And just to please give some examples of some reciprocity opportunities that you all have been involved in. I'd also love it if one of my daughters would speak to that.
I have a question. What does reciprocity mean? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't remember my ABDs, so somebody else take that one, please.
Well, basically, Thriving Connections, like a huge pillar of it is like we get donations and stuff like that, and we like to give back. So I think once every year we make blankets to give to the homeless shelter for the cold winter, and so that people have something to keep them warm throughout the winter. And also we bake cookies. We bake cookies once a year for the service learners and like people who are involved with DC, and we just like to give back to those who give to us.
Well, branching off of Bella, we do make blankets every year, and personally for me, I definitely enjoy making cookies for the service learners, just knowing that, yes, they've helped us, and also that, like, we're saying goodbye to them, but it's not always going to just be goodbye.
Because I also noticed that a few of the service learners that we haven't seen in a while had came back, and one of them said that they're gonna keep on coming back because they like seeing us all grow and seeing our growth in throughout the years of TC, and yeah.
It kind of goes along with what with what Bella said. Like all the different organizations that help us. I mean, I don't really even think about it like that. But like when we like we'll make toys for the pet shelter. We'll make cookies for IU. Like I think it's really fun to give back.
I think one of the things that Thriving Connections teaches through its reciprocity is, well, I guess not teaches, it sort of makes instinctive the idea of gratitude. We're always very thankful for those we have with us, for those who we have had with us, for those we've yet to meet, and I lost my train of thought. But yes, gratitude is very important to us. We always talk about what we're grateful for at the end of meetings. We always thank each other and talk about what's new and good in our lives, and we try to stay in the moment, and that's, it's an important part of our community.
So I too want to say I think all of you are awesome, and I see you as future leaders, whether you stay in this community or go elsewhere. I am thinking, though, that we've heard family. We've definitely heard family members, and we've heard Thriving Connections. But is there someone in the community that you felt was a mentor or instrumental in your current path?
I could say my big brother. Well, I'm in the Big Brother Big Sister program, and my big brother Desmond. I get to hang out with him, and I know I can talk to him about anything and everything, and we have a really big connection, and I like being able to see him every month.
I also seen one of my principals here, and I'd say seeing her in the hallway, always being like positive towards everybody, seeing how she greets people, kind of really showed me to stay positive.
I think that's what we have for that question. Do we have another one ready?
Yeah, so, Asia asked about reciprocity, giving back to people who've given to you, and I'm thinking of wondering about how you will, I'm sure you will be, and maybe how you already have paid it forward to others that you may come into contact with at school, or other people that you see, that you recognize are struggling, and how that impacts you, or how you might demonstrate compassion.
Yeah, so one of my friends at school, I'm not gonna name drop, he was telling me how he was going through a very rough time, and he had always like been coming to school, and he was like always trying to give me something, and I ended up giving him this. I remember it was like this goodie bag that I got from one of my teachers. I ended up giving it to him because like he always like tried to give me something throughout the day, and me knowing that he was going through some hard stuff at home, and yeah.
Me personally, I think the easiest way to show reciprocity is through kindness. And kindness doesn't cost anything. So just being kind to everyone around you and those who give to you always makes a difference, because you never know like how important that person is or how they will affect your future. So you should always be kind to everybody you know.
Yeah, with compassion, I think, I mean, just being in the community like this, it teaches you to be compassionate for people under like all different circumstances. Like even if you don't relate, I feel like just like what Bella said, like just giving them kindness, compassion, that just goes a long way.
And I think that coming from like less fortunate situations, it always teaches you to like have compassion for people and to like not be rude when you see somebody on the street who's like less fortunate than you, because you should always remember where you came from and like how far you've got.
Looks like we have another question over here.
Okay, I have a specific question for Daisy, actually. So, Daisy, you just graduated and you're at IU now. So, what does your role look like in TC, since you're no longer really in the youth section, but you're also not a parent yet? What does that look like for you?
I like with being in college now, like it definitely takes up a lot of my time. But just being able, like when I can, I definitely will still go to TC and like engage with the youth, and like with my mom, like I just help her think of stuff to do. I haven't like currently I have not been like as involved as I want to be yet, but like just getting settled into college and coming when I can, that's my start.
Well, coming from what you asked Daisy, since like my family isn't a current member of TC, my mom's actually running the program now. I kind of like am growing into that leadership role, and like I come to TC every single week to help my mom with little things like getting the food prepared, like getting the little kids in a certain place, and like just like really like going into that leadership role, since like I grew up with my mom like showing me how to be a leader and stuff like that.
I like volunteering at the events that TC has. Like I don't know actually how recently it was. It might have been like a month ago, but like with the poverty simulation they just started doing last year, like I just help out when and where I can, and yeah.
I will also say that now that you're 18 and once you get a more stable placement in college, you are more than welcome to come and join as a captain. Are there any parting thoughts?
Asia, do you have anything you want to add?
Like how proud I am of these babies. Oh, we got another.
I want you to know how much I've been sitting here crying because you all gave me the honor of teaching you to write poetry last year, if you remember. And I'm just so blessed to hear you speak and who you are becoming. So thank you so much, and thanks you for your moms and for Thriving Connections. That's all I have to say.
And I also want to thank you because you really did bring out one of my newest talents, and I have been writing a lot of poetry because of you and because of the program that you did. So I really want to thank you for whenever you came in and did the program, and I'm looking to see you again if you're up to it, you know.
Asia, did you have anything to add before we wrap up?
Just how proud I am of these babies. Can we give these babies a round of applause? I think this is most of their first time doing anything like this, sitting in front of a group of people this large, and it speaks to the drive that TC instills in you. All these babies, all I had to say was, hey, look, I want you to do this, and we lift them up, and we got so much of our community here today to support them because that's what TC does. It's been a huge part of our lives, and we're more like a family.
I want to say that previously I was volunteering with all of them, and it's been about a year or so since I've done that, and I didn't know you could learn that many words in that amount of time. They've done really good. They've become really good public speakers, and I just want to say as a closing statement that as from someone who's gone from youth to upper youth to a community member, I'm very in and out because of circumstances, but I will never forget this place. It has deeply impacted, I can tell not just me, but them as well as the parents. There are crying fests every Thursday night, it seems like, so this is a very important community to not just me, but all of us. So thank you for your time, and we hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Great. Let's thank them again. Thank you, TC, River, Daisy, Bella, Evan, and Matthew. And thank you to all of you who cared about this topic and cared to stay. For me, asking TC to come to this session was a way for us to see something that's working, a way that we can build connection in our community. And so I'm really pleased that they were willing to put in the effort to do that for us. Evan, you got something to add?
I'm really glad to have this opportunity to do this because being able to do this will also be able to open up a lot of doors for all of us to be able to do public speaking like this again. And I'm really excited to have the chance to be able to do this. And yeah.
I just want to say that, like, if you came here and if you guys aren't, like, involved with TC at the moment, I think that, like, if you're in those more fortunate situations, or even if you're in those disfortunate situations, that you should, like, get yourself involved with TC, because Thriving Connections is really a great program and has lifted me up, lifted my family up, and lifted, like, everybody on this stage up.
And I also want to say thank you to everyone that did come here to listen to us speak and give you guys some information about TC and how they've impacted our lives.
Oh, we got a few more. I think we have a few more thoughts. Daisy or Evan, did you guys have something? I see microphones moving.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't even remember like when I first like started coming to TC. Like it was definitely near the time I moved to Bloomington. So like 8-9 years ago, definitely. And it's just been a wonderful experience. And I just want to thank everyone involved. And like what Bella said, encourage anyone to be involved.
Good. You get the last sentence, Evan.
Okay. I wanted to say if you do choose to join TC, we'll be welcoming you with open arms.
Fantastic. Thank you. Well, thank you for welcoming our TC friends into our session. Thanks to all of you. We'd love your feedback to know what was useful to you or what you'd like to see in future opportunities to gather. So if you want to leave a feedback form, we've got a box in the back. We have 15-minute break until our 3 o'clock closing session. So if you have a chance to do the feedback form, you can leave it in the container in the back. We have time for drinks and breaks, and we'll come back together at 3.